The audacious architect of diesel destiny, the saga of Dave Sparks, the titan known to the world as Heavy D, is not a fairy tale of inherited wealth or silver spoons. It is a brutal, bone-deep chronicle of a man who forged a mechanical empire out of raw grit and recycled iron. Rising from the dust of humble beginnings, Sparks transformed himself into the undisputed sovereign of the custom diesel kingdom, building his throne on a foundation of relentless ambition and an almost supernatural willingness to gamble his entire future on a single roll of the dice. He is the ultimate personification of the American dream, a self-made visionary who looked at a landscape of discarded metal and saw a golden opportunity where others saw only decay. His journey is a masterclass in audacity, proving that with enough grease, sweat, and unyielding self-belief, one can transform a small-town workshop into a global phenomenon that redefines the very limits of automotive engineering and masculine branding. The high-stakes scrapyard blood oath, the legend truly ignited with a heart-pounding $8,000 wager that would make even the most seasoned Vegas high roller tremble with anxiety. Heavy D walked onto a desolate Utah scrap heap, and with nothing but his instincts as a guide, dropped a mountain of cold, hard cash for the entire contents of a junkyard he hadn't even fully inspected. The terms were draconian and absolute. He had a mere 48 hours to vanish every single ounce of rusted steel from the property, or lose it all. This wasn't just a business transaction. It was a desperate, tactical race against the relentless ticking of the clock. By strategically liquefying common scrap while hunting for hidden gems, like specialized drill pipes and forgotten fuel tanks, Sparks turned a chaotic graveyard into a massive profit center. This pivotal moment cemented his core philosophy: in the world of Heavy D, chaos is not a threat to be feared, but a lucrative harvest waiting for a man brave enough to claim it. Resurrecting the rusted ghosts of industry. In the suffocating heat of that 2-day scrap mission, a moment of mechanical magic occurred that would define the spiritual heart of Sparks Motors forever. Amidst the piles of twisted metal lay a Bantam crane, a skeletal remain of industrial history with a Detroit diesel engine that had been silent for years, seemingly dead to the world. While any rational observer would have sent it straight to the crusher, Heavy D saw a pulse where others saw a corpse. With a surge of jumper cables and a prayer of pure adrenaline, the team coaxed the Iron Beast back to life, its black smoke billowing like a defiant battle flag against the Utah sky. Though the victory was fleeting, and the crane was eventually scrapped, that roar of the engine was a symbolic resurrection. It proved that Heavy D possesses a rare, almost primal connection to machinery, a gift for finding the heartbeat in the wreckage and breathing life into the forgotten ghosts of America's industrial past. Marty, the rebellion against modern complexity. Heavy D's mechanical ideology is a fierce, unapologetic rebellion against the sanitized, computer-driven world of modern automotive manufacturing. He famously asked a dangerous question: why should a hardworking man be shackled to a $250,000 high-tech tow truck when vintage ingenuity can conquer the same terrain? This defiance gave birth to Marty, a battered and bruised 1968 Chevrolet C20 tow truck that looked like it belonged in a museum of lost causes. The journey to reclaim Marty was a harrowing odyssey of hot wiring ignitions in the dark and repairing ruptured fuel lines on the fly, while gasoline sprayed across the hot pavement. Marty was more than just a truck. He was a rolling manifesto of rugged simplicity. By restoring this relic, Heavy D tapped into a deep, cultural hunger for vehicles that a man can fix with his own two hands, a powerful reminder that in an age of digital fragility, the old-school American steel of the 1960s still reigned supreme. The hat, 1,000,000 pounds of pure dominance. When the world faces an impossible mechanical crisis, they don't call a standard towing service. They call for the overwhelming, earth-shaking power of the hat. This custom-built recovery behemoth is the crown jewel of Sparks Motors, an apex predator of the industrial world designed to laugh in the face of physics. When a 119 0-pound soil stabilizer became entombed in a treacherous, swallowing abyss of Utah mud, Heavy D unleashed this monster to perform a miracle. Configuring 1,000,000 pounds of theoretical pulling force through a complex web of snatch blocks and heavy-duty cables, the operation was a high-stakes ballet of engineering and raw violence, with massive dozers chained to its front to act as anchors against the crushing weight. The hat groaned and strained until the earth finally surrendered its prize. This wasn't just a tow, it was a demonstration of absolute dominance, proving that Sparks Motors operates on a level of industrial competence that borders on the superhuman. The desert pirate's treasure in abandoned cargo. The restless spirit of Heavy D is never satisfied with just one empire. He constantly seeks the thrill of the hunt in the dark corners of abandoned commerce. He has mastered the high-risk, high-reward world of storage unit auctions and unclaimed freight, treating every locked door like a pirate's treasure chest. In a recent heart-stopping gamble, a $2,500 investment into a mysterious semi-trailer and a cluttered storage unit revealed a shocking bounty hidden beneath layers of dust. His team unearthed a secret stash of vintage coins and high-end medical skin therapy devices that seemed wildly out of place in a world of grease and diesel. By meticulously scavenging through the discarded remnants of other people's lives, Sparks turned a modest layout into a staggering $6,500 return. It is a testament to his sharp, predatory business acumen, a man who understands that in the grand marketplace of life, one man's forgotten trash is another man's ticket to a massive, cold-blooded payday. The federal hammer and the rolling coal scandal. No empire is built without drawing the ire of the powerful, and the story of the Diesel brothers took a dark, cinematic turn when the federal government set its sights on their operation. In 2017, the company found itself in the crosshairs of a massive lawsuit that shook the foundation of the custom truck world. Accused of violating the Clean Air Act through the controversial modification of diesel emissions, the infamous rolling coal that had become their trademark, the legal battle was a brutal, multi-year war of attrition. The final judgment was a staggering blow, a crushing fine of over $850,000, and a permanent federal injunction against their signature modifications. This was a moment of profound reckoning, a heartbreaking collision between the wild, lawless spirit of automotive customization and the cold, unyielding hand of environmental regulation. It forced the kingdom of Sparks Motors to evolve or face total extinction under the weight of a government that demanded absolute compliance, liquidating the legacy under financial strain. In the wake of the devastating federal judgment, a new and somber chapter began as the once untouchable empire was forced to face the harsh reality of massive financial liability. Observers watched with bated breath as Heavy D began a large-scale liquidation process, hosting massive garage sales that were essentially the dismantling of a legacy. These weren't just sales of old parts, they were the strategic shedding of assets to generate the massive cash flow required to satisfy the looming debt of the legal fallout. Seeing legendary project vehicles and specialized equipment sold off to the highest bidder felt like watching a king sell his crown jewels to keep the castle gates from being breached. It was a humbling, gut-wrenching transition for a team that had previously known only meteoric growth. This period of forced austerity tested the very soul of the company, revealing the hidden costs of building a business on the bleeding edge of the rules in a world that was rapidly changing around them, shedding the skin of the Diesel brothers' past. As the dust settled on the legal battlefield, Heavy D made a series of heart-wrenching decisions to divest himself of the vehicles that had once defined his identity. In a monumental transaction that felt like the end of an era, he handed over the keys to his most iconic relics, including the beloved Marty and the surreal world's lowest truck, to fellow content creator Robbie Layton. This wasn't just a business deal, it was a symbolic transfer of history, a necessary shedding of an old skin to make room for a new, compliant future. These vehicles carried the stories of millions of views and the early wild days of the Diesel brothers, and watching them leave the yard was a poignant reminder of the impermanence of success. By letting go of these historic assets, Sparks was clearing the deck for a rebirth, proving that a true leader knows when to sacrifice the past to ensure the survival of the future, even when it means saying goodbye to the machines he loved the most. Forged in grit, the enduring Sparks legacy. Ultimately, the heartbreaking and heroic story of Heavy D Sparks is a testament to the unyielding power of the human spirit to endure, adapt, and triumph. He remains a titan of the industry, a man who built a custom diesel kingdom from absolutely nothing but a dream and a wrench. His legacy is not defined by the lawsuits he faced or the fines he paid, but by the sheer audacity of his vision and the millions of people he inspired to look at an old truck and see a masterpiece. Heavy D navigated the treacherous waters of fame, federal scrutiny, and financial crisis, emerging on the other side as a wiser, more formidable operator. He proved that true greatness isn't found in never falling, but in the ability to rise from the mud, fix the engine, and keep driving forward with the throttle wide open. His story remains a beacon for every underdog with a dream, a reminder that in the great American workshop of life, the most important tool you can ever own is a heart forged in fire and grit.